Argentine President Alberto Fernandez accused the Supreme Court of Justice of interfering in democratic processes after the judicial body suspended the elections in the provinces of San Juan and Tucumán. The Israeli military renewed its strikes in the Gaza Strip, leaving 3 people killed and 10 others injured in the last 24 hours. And protests persist in Pakistan following the arrest of the former Prime Minister Imran Khan to answer for corruption charges. From the headquarters of TeleSUR English in Havana, Cuba, this is From the South. I'm your anchor, Gladys Quesada, and these are the news. Argentine President Alberto Fernandez accused on Tuesday the Supreme Court of Justice of meddling in democratic process after the ruling of the judicial body to suspend the elections scheduled for next May the 9th in the provinces of San Juan and Tucumán. The Supreme Court of Justice of Argentina ordered on Tuesday to suspend the elections scheduled for May 14th in the provinces of Tucumán and San Juan, following the filing of the precautionary measures by the opposition that questioned the possibility of Sergio Uñac of San Juan obtaining a 4th consecutive mandate and Juan Mansur of Tucumán, who is running as candidate for vice governor, to become the provincial executive for the 5th time. Fernandez stated that the Supreme Court justices aligned themselves with the opposition to avoid a possible new defeat in the regions of San Juan and Tucumán. On Tuesday, Ecuador's National Assembly voted to move forward with the impeachment trial against President Guillermo Lasso. During the plenary session, the motion to continue with the impeachment process against the Ecuadorian president for alleged embezzlement was approved with 88 votes in favor and 23 votes against. 22 speakers addressed the plenary before Congressperson Viviana Veloz presented the draft resolution against the president. As from Tuesday's vote, the president of the National Assembly, Virgilio Saquicela, has to call a new session and to include the impeachment process in the agenda. Even though time frames for the scenario are somewhat variable, according to the opposition, the impeachment trial could take place next week. In Panama, several popular organizations marched on Tuesday to the seat of government to protest against the high cost of living. The walk started very early in the morning from the emblematic Belisario Porras Park. According to the March Organizing Committee, the aim of the rally is also to demand access to drinking water, a problem that plagues the population in the capital and other regions of the country. Other demands include the need to stop the government's privatization policies in relation to the Social Security Fund, the only public entity that attends retirees and pensioners but which is immersed in a structural and financial crisis. They also demand better quality employment, health, education, and efficient public services. On Tuesday, Brazil's Supreme Federal Court is analyzing the 4th set of complaints filed by the Attorney General's office against those accused of participating in the coup actions of January the 8th in the capital. The trial is taking place in the virtual plenary session of the court, a deliberation format in which the judges cast their votes on the entity's page on the internet, without the need for an in-person session or a video conference. The deliberation ends on May 15th. Such scrutiny is carried out by the judges on a case-by-case basis. The situation of the defendants is analyzed individually. From Tuesday, another 250 files will be examined. If the complaints are received, the accused will be subject to criminal action in the Superior Court. To date, the Supreme Court has accused 300 people of participating in anti-democratic actions in 2 previous scrutinies initiated since the end of April. On Tuesday, the Peruvian Minister of Energy and Mines, Oscar Vera, denounced that it was negligence that caused the death by asphyxiation of the 27 miners trapped in a fire on a gold mine shaft. The official, in addition to pointing out that there was negligence at the time of the accident, promised that after the investigations, the corresponding actions will be taken to determine the responsible or guilty parties. He also assured that the Ministry of Justice will provide the resources to support the families of the victims, so that the company of the Esperanza 1 gold mine complies with the compensations that correspond by law. The tragedy occurred when a fire broke out, apparently caused by a short circuit that ignited the wooden beams of the tunnel, causing the 27 workers to perish by asphyxiation due to toxic smoke inhalation. Violence is breaking all records in Haiti. According to a report from the United Nations, more than 1,000 people were killed in the first quarter of 2023. The report further said that only in April, more than 600 people were killed in a wave of gun violence hitting Haiti's capital. Between January and March, the UN documented more than 1,000 victims of killings, injuries, and kidnappings, a 28% increase compared to the previous quarter. Kidnappings, murders, extortion, and other criminal acts keep increasing in Port-au-Prince, which is in the midst of a serious economic and social crisis. Neighborhoods that were once considered safe are now taken over by gangs, notably Kenskov and Pétionville, as well as Artibonite Department. On Wednesday in the United States, President Joe Biden is expected to militarize the border with Mexico, following a similar move by Texas Governor Greg Abbott, one of his most aggressive critics. On Thursday, cabinet restrictions intended to curb migration, commonly known as Title 42, expires. The health law enforced during the pandemic was created by the former President Donald Trump and followed by the current government. As the restrictions come to an end, asylum seekers arrived at the Mexico-U.S. border, and according to the U.S. defense officials, about 550 active duty troops have also been sent to the location in the first group of the new military support. President Biden's administration has seen record numbers of people crossing the border, and his government has responded by cracking down on illegal border crossers. Where you will find news updates, and more. Other stories coming up. Stay with us. Welcome back. In Ecuador, the impeachment process against President Guillermo Lasso under corruption charges was approved by lawmakers with 88 votes in favor and 23 votes against. To go on the matter, we dialogue with Maria Fernanda Andrade, political and social activist in that Central American nation. We welcome Maria Fernanda.
Hello, thank you for having me as the voice of many people here in Ecuador.
Okay, it's always a pleasure to receive you. So the Congress gave the green light for the impeachment process on President Guillermo Lasso to move on after weeks of deliberations and hearing the plaintiffs. So which is the relevance of this step and what says about the current political landscape in Ecuador?
Well, yes, yesterday as the National Assembly, at the Assembly, 88 of the 116 legislators approved the process to continue the impeachment against President Guillermo Lasso that was started previously by the Constitutional Court over embezzlement accusations. Of course, one of the most vehement congressmen from the official side tried to archive and hide the impeachment document, but yesterday, majority voted for proceeding the impeachment. The resolution reads that Lasso and Hernan Luque, the former president of the directory of the all state companies, allowed the continuation of food transportation contracts in favor of third parties, aware that they have represented a loss for the state. Consequently, the president of the republic knew about the structure of corruption in Flopec. No? So obviously, this is a legal and a minimum pretext to accomplish the popular will. Finally, majority of the assembly members, even the conservative members of Partido Social Cristiano, want Guillermo Lasso out of power. So I think that the National Assembly congressmen, they have heard us, they have done justice so far. We have to see what is coming.
Okay, so on Monday, Ecuador's Confederation of Indigenous Nationalities, CONAIE, issued the statements supporting the impeachment trial of Lasso, and also a pollster revealed that 81% of the population considers not only Lasso incurred in mismanagement, but that he must be ousted from the presidential post. In your opinion, is this the collective will of the Ecuadorian people?
Well, I think we have here, we are like tired. We know Ecuadorians are living one of the worst economical crises. We have millions of people migrating because of poverty level. We have 1,000 of killed people in jail. The level of unemployment has increased. The government has created horror and terror towards social movement. We know Lasso recently approved the free weapon possession, and people, of course, know that this is to control the social discontent. So I think that we are not well represented by our congressmen, Izquierda Democrática, Pachacutic, that our left parties are not doing things like we expect, the people are expecting, no? So I think we have to expect the scenarios here. We know that there were treason to the nation. We know that there are many other causes to talk about bad things about Lasso's government. The scenario is still ambiguous. The strategy of the government and these assembly members is to create and verify that the trial process has legal flaws. We know that it's not true. They have one important ally, the state attorney, who is a shareholder of Banco de Guayaquil, whose owner is the Presidente Guillermo Lasso, as we know. So Guillermo Lasso must appear at the assembly next week, but he has never done so. And I think he will not attend. The call will be Thursday or Friday next week. There will be a debate, and the following week there will be the vote for the removal of President Lasso. So we are a little bit worried because we need 92 votes, and yesterday we have 88 votes, so we need 4 more. The big problem, as you said, in the vote calculations is the party of the indigenous movement, which is Pachacutic, who were absent yesterday when in the moment of voting. No, there have been many complaints of corruption to the Pachacutic and other assembly members. So I think the social pressure in this moment is very important, is very essential. The other scenario is cross death. It's another option, but the government does not support this, because if there is an election, a popular election, Lasso and this tiny group would never win. So if Lasso, the third scenario, if Lasso continues in power, his line would be fascist, of course, with support of the military and police leadership to control power. So we have to expect to wait to the other week.
So, Maria Fernanda, we have a last question for you. In recent days, Lasso declared a state of exception for some of the provinces in Ecuador harshly affected by gang violence and for drug trafficking violence. Some people, some experts, said this could be maybe of an excuse of Lasso to turn over and to find a detour from the public opinion on himself and trying to focus that on the social organizations and other problems in the country. Do you think that could be a strategy? Is that a way that Lasso has to maybe alleviate the situation over him?
Of course, I think it's a marketing situation, a marketing scenario. He's trying to arrange to fix his image. So, of course, this is a measure, a difficult measure. We are sure that this will not solve the problems that we are having here. We need more investment in in the social fields and health. So this is a strategy, of course.
So, Maria Fernanda, thanks for your time and presence hearing from the South.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so regarding the current political situation in Ecuador, we were talking to Maria Fernanda Andrade, who is a political activist and also a social activist in Ecuador. We will have more news coming up. Stay with us. Welcome back to From the South. The Israeli military renewed its strikes on the Gaza Strip on Wednesday. In 2 consecutive drone airstrikes in less than 24 hours, 3 people were killed and 10 others injured, one of them in critical conditions, after being injured with shrapnel from the missile attack. According to the Palestinian Health Ministry, on the first airstrike that occurred in the town of Abzan, east of the city of Khan Yunis, a local farmer was killed, while another was injured. The second drone attack happened when a warplane fired 2 missiles at a site east of Rafah in the south of the Gaza Strip, killing 2 people and injuring 9 others. In the midst of it all, Israeli forces detained 28 Palestinians, including 6 children, from several areas in the occupied West Bank. Likewise, more detentions were carried out in other cities such as Nablus, Ramallah, Jericho, among others. At least 6 people were killed in a shooting attack near a synagogue in Tunisia on Wednesday. According to the country's Interior Ministry, the attack, which took place in the Jorba, left 3 security officers killed, one of whom died in hospital after sustaining a serious injury. Likewise, 2 visitors, a 30-year-old Tunisian and a 42-year-old French national, were also among the victims of the shooting. The attack came amid an annual pilgrimage to the island of the Jorba that draws hundreds of Jews from Europe and Israel. Lugriba is Africa's oldest synagogue, a revered iconic location on the heart of the island. It was built on the site of a Jewish temple that is believed to date back almost 2,000 years. And protests persist in Pakistan on Wednesday following the arrest of the former Prime Minister Imran Khan to answer for corruption charges. Former Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan on Wednesday appeared before a special court at the capital's police station a day after his arrest sparked the start of mobilizations across the country. Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf party members and supporters continued to demonstrate while Pakistan's anti-corruption watchdog on Wednesday sought 14 days remand for former Prime Minister Imran Khan. Local media reported 2 fatalities in those clashes, while police said 945 lawbreakers and miscreants had been arrested in Punjab alone, the country's most populous province. And Pakistan's former Prime Minister Imran Khan was in office from 2018 until April 2022 when he was ousted after a non-confidence motion in parliament. He serves 4 of his 5-year term initially. Khan attributed his ouster to a U.S. move to punish him for his closeness to Russia, but later he claimed that the former head of the Pakistan army, Qamar Majah, had conspired with the opposition to oust him. If Khan were to be convicted on any of the charges filed against him, he will be disqualified to hold public office, which will be a setback for the former cricketer turned politician. General elections in Pakistan are scheduled for next November. Khan is the highest-rated political leader in the country, despite the allegations raised against him. Internal political crises are common in Pakistan, where no prime minister has yet served a full term and where the military has ruled for almost half of the country's history. And we have come to the end of this news brief. But remember, you can find this and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. And also, if you feel so inclined, please join us on social media for all the latest news. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I'm Gladys Quesada. Thank you for watching.